Hey y'all, this is Maggie C, and excited to educate many of you and hopefully gain some support over what I've been dealing with, the process that I've gone through in my journey for the past 3 or so years with late-stage Lyme disease. There's so many controversies, sadly, that surround it, and there being so much misinformation out there. So we oftentimes feel on trial. Your heart and your soul have a hard time connecting to what you can intellectualize. This isn't right. I shouldn't feel shameful for this. I got bit by a tick. For 10 years, I was a nightlife producer, event producer in New York City, produced popular events like Stiletto and Eden Creme de la Femme, and was well known in the community and loved my role as a host and loved being able to give that to the community and helping us march towards equality. I was going through so much stress with work, working so hard sometimes I don't think that people quite realized, it wasn't just showing up at events. My job was all day, every day, and sometimes I'd push it too far. It was a perfect storm. That and stress and fatigue. Seizures started out of nowhere. I was always very healthy. Extreme weight loss out of nowhere. Everyone started to raise, your skin starts to change. It was unknown to me for a long time, decades in fact, that I had dormant Lyme disease. And I was quite private about it at first because we didn't know where it was going to lead. It was a very difficult process. The sicker I got, the more it felt as if folks were kind of drifting away and feeling we're more emotional and we're more sensitive to things. It's debilitating knowing how many people were around when I was at the top, which at times could feel kind of lonely. It was almost too much, but certainly very grateful for it. When I became sick, ultimately less and less people around. Then you begin to stop communicating as much with people, wanting so badly to see people, but knowing that you might have 1 out of every 3 weeks that you feel well, and that's confusing to people too. Well, she looked fine this day. But then what they don't see for the rest of the 3 weeks is what we as Lyme sufferers need for people to see. Your lifestyle changes. You can no longer have sugar or gluten or dairy or be around bright lights or certain sounds. You lose an incredible amount of weight. Careful what you wish for. I always wanted to lose that pesky 10 pounds, and then suddenly, when I first became sick, and it took many years for them to discover, finally test me for Lyme, all the appropriate tests, and I was clearly tested positive for everything. I've gotten so much beautiful feedback from people. I hope that continues. I'm so grateful for it. I think it will be the catalyst, along with the treatment that I'm going through. What prevented me from having 25 co-infections as opposed to the 3 that I'm battling right now quite intensely is that the FDA finally approved temporarily, and hopefully will continue to, something called ozone treatment that they have been doing in other countries for decades that has been curing cancers, tuberculosis, AIDS, Lyme disease, you name it. It's very expensive, but of course insurance is not covering it, as they aren't covering any Lyme treatment. But it's incredibly effective. It would be far more effective if I could receive it twice a week. In fact, likely put my body into dormancy. Ozone is essentially a natural element. O3 is what they call it. The way they do it is called autohemotherapy. It's much like dialysis. They remove the blood, they then add saline to clean it, then they add the ozone. The ozone has the ability to fight disease, and particularly with Lyme disease, because it does have this remarkable ability to multiply when it's attacked, fight back very aggressively with something like late-stage Lyme that can multiply and reproduce quickly or hide, or, it's a trickster. still requires you to attack it frequently, more frequently than I can afford right now. Because anyone with late-stage Lyme disease or knows anything about it knows that you're going to go broke with this disease, sadly. What I'm able to get right now helps so much. Not just the ozone, but the supplements, the amount of doctor visits that you have to have, the amount of medical bills that you have, of the cost of living, people helping to take care of you and pay for your medications and supplements and doctor visits, and the list goes on. Food, clothing, anything. The doctor that I go to, I'm lucky to have found someone that administers it. It's cost $175 a visit, but until I can receive it twice weekly, I'm not going to be able to get into remission. And that costs money, and that is something I don't have right now. I want to reiterate how much I'm so appreciative of those who have donated to me in the past through various fundraiser pages that I've put up. How life-saving that has been. I wanted to tell you all that any future donations that come from what we're doing here will hopefully result in your help in any way that you can. How much I'm deeply indebted, and very much look forward to being there for all of you and be back in your lives in a healthy way and have you back in my life. I very much miss everyone, and I'm very grateful to this effort and your efforts. Thank you so much.